Hey all, this is Judith of Judith Tomorrow Design, judithtomorrow.com. This month's new moon reading. The card is Challenge. So the card Challenge often describes an environment that we experience as a little bit like being caught between a rock and a hard place. It often describes a place where we feel like the clarity of the path forward is not always clear. It is usually because there is some external structure, environment, situation that doesn't seem like it's really allowing us to move in our natural way and to express who we are on the inside. And so we feel like we're confused as to whether to like how to bring ourselves forward in this environment in an authentic way. That is sort of the essence of challenge. As you can see here, there's a little critter who's sort of got her or his nose to what I call the magical path, this movement down the middle. It's got spirals and so forth. And then there's this external environment that has this kind of like squeezy part right here through the middle. That's more of a manufactured or human created structure of the internal world. And then beyond that is actually a more organic environment. It's got the trees, and it also picks up the same colors as this magic path. And so this card is a lot about negotiating this bigger environment, this built environment, the sort of external environment that we may be given, though we may internalize it as well, right? That's another version of an external environment, is when we take an external environment and internalize it and believe it. And so we're negotiating this external, more human constructed environment, and but sticking to sort of this organic natural path down the middle. And it takes extreme calm focus to do this. Like, you can't just push against it. You have to kind of keep your nose to the ground a little bit, to follow it, to feel it, to smell it. That experience, that is the sort of the essence of challenge. It's not a pushing experience. It's a moving consistently towards the what is natural, what sings, what resonates, what you can smell. All of the four cards, this is a four of structure, all of the four cards have that quality of sort of moving through an external environment with integrity. And how do we bring those two things together? Because the external environment is not something that we can eliminate. It's not something that we even want to eliminate, because we are actually here to bring ourselves into it. And how do we do that? That is a complicated challenge, right? It can show up in an experience, an internal experience of navigating dichotomies. So if you have in your mind this truth and that truth, and they don't seem to fit together, there's a path through the two of them. And so noticing during this time period where we are experiencing dichotomies, where we're experiencing, oh, if I'm relaxed, then I can't get work done. Where we're experiencing, if I don't have work, then I don't have value. If I do have work, but it's not the right kind, then I don't have value. These are all like these structures of two things that you might want. You want work and you want value. These things in our minds that we've constructed, and the external world may be supporting that dichotomy as well, where we say that we can't have the two things that are actually authentic to us. So that is the essence of challenge. And reading it right now, we're seeing for the next month, including for those of us in the United States, the election, which is going to be its own version of a shit show, I believe. That as we negotiate this, there's like, don't go through this process of pushing against it, and don't go through a process of collapsing within yourselves. But this sort of in-between stage where we're accepting that we're dealing with realities and structures that are existent, and yet we're bringing our authentic truth to them, into them, in whatever way we can. It doesn't mean that we can take down a structure with an axe or anything like that. It's about our presence there. So another place that this may show up is in institutions. I think this is a really good example of it. For example, if you are, say, in healthcare or the education system, which are institutions that are carry a lot of structures that are not always supportive to the final goal that they say, like health institutions and insurance institutions are not necessarily structured always to provide health experiences, true healing to people. Educational institutions are not always structured, like their bureaucracy is not structured necessarily to deeply support all students going through. And yet individuals within that, nurses and doctors and teachers, those people are there because they are there with full heart in these institutions. And how do they navigate these institutions that are somewhat constrictive sometimes? Um, how do we navigate that in order to bring the healing and bringing the learning and bringing the heart that we have within those spaces? So that is another example of challenge. And a lot of what helps with that process is the creation of and belonging to communities and other structures that help you hold the space of that magic path that you're feeling. So a really good example is, for example, my partner is a holistic nurse, and there is an Association of Holistic Nurses of America. That's a lovely organization. And within that organization is a community of people that help hold a structure that helps us navigate this dichotomy of how do I bring healing into this space that sometimes is very repressive towards healing. So see if you can apply that to your life right now. See if you can look at the world through that lens right now for the next month, for the next new moon cycle, which ran from let's see, the 13th, I think, or something like that, 16th, for 28 days. And take care of yourself. Make those choices and make those um, commitments to structures that help you hold that magic path. It can be self-care, it can be connection to other people, it can be writing in a diary, it can be any number of things that help you support that narrow path, not even narrow, but that magic path that helps you move through this world. So that's it. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in a month. All right. Bye-bye.